So I want to real quickly talk about CBW as to why we chose CBW and what is out there. I'll just give you a Cliff Notes version of what that is, so that way you don't need to read a whole lot. The reason we chose CBW is for two reasons. One, the analogy I want to give it to you guys is much like a difference between a Tesla car and the OEM car. So they have really skipped the burden of a legacy system. They don't have to deal with all the, how Tesla, you don't have to worry about the engine, nothing like that, right? Boom, you know, you keep driving and use electric and you can fly as fast as you can. Whereas the OEMs are continuing to struggle. Similarly, in the banking industry, they're lagging behind in terms of IT and technology. And that's where the CBW Bank is so different. So what they have done, they have redesigned the whole banking platform using modern IT principles that are in other industries but not in the banking industry, and they have developed everything into APIs. So what they have done, they have converted everything into a very granular processes, and every process is now become an API. And so what that means is that to you, so you don't have to do rebuilding a lot of stuff, so you can repurpose some of those APIs. And as a result, you can really build products faster. How many of you guys know about Amazon? Why is Amazon so successful? Huh?
Automation.
Huh?
Automation.
Cloud.
Because of their APIs. So they have really converted every granular process, into an API. And as a result, that's why they enjoy the benefit. That's why they are kicking ass, for the whole world, right? Am I right? Jeff Bezos is the #1 guy in the world. He's making so much of money. So that's really what this API is all about. Because that's why I want to take the time, because I want you guys to take advantage of what we have given it to you. So like Tom said, what did he say? So repeat one more time. About CBW Bank.
You're going to make me say that. Well, it's no joke. For someone that's lived in the payments world, they were a revolutionary. Well, CBW is a bank, for those of you who don't know, it's in the middle of central Kansas. How many of you have been to central Kansas? There's actually people that have been to Kansas. You're all lying because there is no state of Kansas. It doesn't exist. It and Wyoming are completely made up. Just kidding. It's a real, this guy went out to central Kansas and built a bank that's completely fintech for. He bought a whole bank and turned it into this fintech powerhouse. And the Entre Payments is in Lawrence, where the University of Kansas is, and it's the same kind of thing. It's just this little payments powerhouse in these really I know that Silicon Prairie of Kansas is a really popular place to do a startup, but it's really quite fantastic what they're doing. And if you're into payments or into the way money moves, these guys are someone to follow and someone to get involved with.
Yeah, so that's why we are bringing it to you. We are not trying to sell that API, but we want you guys to take advantage of those APIs and develop some cool products. And then so much like Amazon, you could not only help today's customers, but you can also help future customers. And in the whole process, you are really making people to have ease of doing business with you. And that's what Amazon has done, and that's what CBW Bank has done with their APIs. And so there are about, 500 APIs in there? So whatever areas you want to work on, if you want to work on the payments, so you can play around with it. And the other important thing is that, like many of the entrepreneurs that I know of, they all have difficulty in terms of understanding the domain, right? Many of them don't have the banking experience. So I find a lot of people go and develop some products, but at the end of the day, it cannot be compliant. If it is not compliant, it's useless. Because if it doesn't pass the regulation, it's useless, right? So, but by working on this API, it ensures that you're compliant. Which means that at the end of the day, you'll be able to develop a product that will see the light at the end of the tunnel, and that's really what we're trying to do. What's that?
They were picking up sound from the room next door.
So there are about 500 APIs, and so really, and it has like a lot of analytics that you would see in a Google, a risk scoring engine, and a lot of analytics.
No, that's just text the number.
So whatever the challenge statements are there, I don't want to go through the challenge statements, and same thing from TD Ameritrade. So they have really listed all of them, and so the difference between the CBW API, and the TD Ameritrade. TD Ameritrade is relatively new. They just made the API made available to you, so I would expect there may be some issues because it's a new API. CBW's APIs has been in use for a couple of years, so it's up to you to pick and choose whatever you want to. But the APIs are available, and if you run into some issues, if it's a CBW, you have to contact, if you really go inside and develop something, then you should be able to contact them and get the technical support from them. And likewise, if you want to go into TD Ameritrade, the technical support has to come from them, not from us. But I think there was a question out there, if somebody were to develop the product, they could do whatever they want. I mean, it's your product, but you're using them as a rapid prototyping shop, if you will, right? So that's really what the purpose of the API is. You just go and tinker around, treat them as your own prototype shop to develop your own proof of concept, and then you bring the product into the marketplace faster. So which means, all that means in summary is that with a little bit of time, with no money from you, you're able to use a massive platform that was developed by somebody at somebody's cost, but you're taking advantage of that and leveraging that, and that is what the value that we are bringing to the FinTech Challenge.